How do you milk a cow in Bavaria?
How often do you have a bath?
And how can you practice the drums without making a sound?
How?
How can I trick these guys every time?
Oh, Gareth, don't be stupid. You can't trick me.
How can you trick us every time? Go on.
You willing to put money on this?
Yes, of course we are.
10p then, in the kitty, in the centre.
10 pence in the centre.
OK, then I will trick you
Easy
quite
money.
successfully. You'll need the glass of water there,
Right.
OK. Now all you have to do is copy everything I do
It's
exactly.
going to be so easy.
Yeah, ridiculous.
OK, ready?
Right.
Oh, great, how this.
That is horrible.
But I've swallowed mine.
That's awful.
Tricked?
That is awful.
20p up, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah,
That's
try
how you
that
trick 'em.
one. Can we have a better
Every
one,
time.
please?
I'll show you a good one. How can ice help you mend a burst pipe? Bit of a contradiction in terms, that, isn't it? Because it's ice that causes the problem in the first place. You know what happens? The pipe is unlagged, the water freezes, the ice expands, and it splits the pipe. Yeah? But now take a look at my system over here. I've got a leak in this pipe here. I've got my swimming pool up the top there. Thousands of gallons of water. How am I going to stop it? Well, normally, of course, you'd have to turn the whole system off, drain the whole system, and then replace the damaged bit of pipe. But that takes a long time. That's how it used to be until now. But now comes a very clever how. Because here, I've got a pipe that's full of water, and wrapped around it is a sleeve, just like that one there. Now, attached to it, I have this tube and a canister of liquid. I turn the canister on, the liquid comes out at great pressure, it changes into a gas, it expands like mad, it cools like billy-o, and can you see, it's cooled the water so much, it's freezing the water inside the pipe.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yep.
You see the ice forming on the top?
Yeah, yeah.
All will be explained in just a moment. Now, here's one that I played with a bit earlier. Another pipe full of water, which I froze in exactly the same way. Let me take it out and show you the ice inside it. Do you see that?
Yeah.
The ice
Yes.
is there. Now, I'll see if I can get the ice out by dipping that pipe into some hot water and a swift wrap, and there it
Oh,
comes.
fantastic.
Now, how does all that work in relation to my leaking pipe here? Let me show you how. I get one of my sleeves that side of the burst and wrap it around there. The other sleeve, the other side of the burst, and wrap it around there. And then I shall freeze the water in exactly the same way as I have over there. Then get my hacksaw, cut out the bad bit of pipe, the split pipe, and replace it with a brand new piece of pipe. Then I'll take off my sleeves, the ice will thaw, the water will flow again, and the whole system is working as per normal. And that is how ice helps you to mend a burst pipe.
That's fantastic, Fred. Now, the problem I have is, how do I charm a worm? Can I introduce you to this beautiful worm here? This is Wilfred. Wilfred and I have been getting to know each other quite well over the last few days, and I've been trying to charm him. This has been my challenge. So I thought first of all, I'd be quite clever about this, and I would write him a little poem.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Wilfred, can I compare thee to a summer's day?
Ah.
Oh, Wilfred, will you just wriggle away?
Well, he is wriggling away. You're not charming him, are you?
Not at all,
particularly.
Charlie.
No. All right, then. Well, how about this? Worm chocks. And knowing Wilfred as well as I do, I knew that he'd fancy, you know, a little bit of grass or soil
Oh, that'll
or even
charm
a
him.
bit of mud. Wilfred!
No,
Wilfred!
you're not charming him. So how can you do it?
Well, I don't think I can, but I know a man who can charm worms. And that man is David Kelland, who organises the International Festival of Worm Charmers. David, first of all, can you tell me, what is worm charming?
Well, worm charming is where you get the worms out of the ground.
I see. And how do you do it, David?
Well, just by sprinkling water on the ground, as you see here,
Yeah.
for about 5 minutes, and up they come.
And you've been tapping it with a trowel.
That's
Oh,
right,
I
just
see.
keep
That's
doing what?
fantastic. Well, here, we've got a bowl. There's our first one.
Let's see if we can get some more.
All right. Oh, here's one. There we are. 2, 3. Now, where does this happen?
This happens in South Devon, a little tiny village called Blackalton.
And why does it happen?
Well, we have a festival down there and we raise money for charity.
And what's the world record for worm charming, then?
The world record is 149 worms in 15 minutes.
Now, Wilfred, you've dropped off your cushion. He's gone back into the soil. What do you do with the worms after?
We put them all back in.
There they go. Thank you very much indeed, David. And that, of course, is how you charm worms.
How can you practice the drums without making a noise? See, the trouble is, drums, even if you hit them really lightly, can make an awful lot of noise. That's great if you're playing, but not much fun if you're the person having to put up with someone else learning how to play. What's needed is a silent drum kit. Now, such a thing has indeed been invented by a lady called Victoria Barrett. And this is it. Listen. Doesn't sound like much, does it? But if you look inside this plastic pad here, you will see that inside there is a transducer. That's a transducer. And what it does is transfer the impact of my stick on the pad into an electrical signal. That electrical signal then is carried down a cable to this magic box of tricks here, which recreates the sound of an entire drum kit. All I have to do is put on my headphones, and in my ears I can hear an entire drum kit. For instance, hi-hat there, snare here, tom-toms, and a cymbal. And with the aid of this, I can practice drums to my heart's content without annoying anybody. Now, that's one way of practicing the drums without annoying anybody. But if you want to annoy everybody, all you have to do is unplug the headphones, turn on the amplifier, and you can make as much row as a full-size drum kit. What do you think of that then, guys?
What?
Do you know, sometimes I wonder why I bother at all.
How do you milk a cow in Bavaria?
Is it something to do with that ridiculous German hat, Fred?
9, Toppy, 9.
I think it's more likely to do with that wooden thing round your neck, Fred.
The yoke, 9, Fraulein.
No, you see, the answer to the how they milk a cow in Bavaria, lies in the stool. You see, the Bavarian milking stool has only one leg. Do you see that? Why do I need those other 2 legs when I've already got a pair of legs of my own? Thank you, Hilda. And over to Gertrude. You see, in Bavaria, they use the one-legged milking stool because they need both of their hands free for the buckets to put the milk in, and also, you see, to make sure the yoke stays on the shoulder. Thank you, Hilda. Not so good today, eh? Good girl. That is no yoke. For this how, we have to say thank you to Axel Keim, who watched a how on the last series, which used a stool with only one leg. And that is how you milk a cow in Bavaria. Carol, another how.
Amazing, Fred, quite amazing. Gareth, how often do you have a bath?
Oh, every month, whether I need it or not.
Yeah, that's very good. Fred, what about you?
Once a day in Bavarian cow's milk, without fail.
Now, if we look back in history, we'll find that people weren't quite as clean as we are today, mainly because they didn't have running water. If we have a look at Queen Elizabeth I, she was a lady known for her high standard of cleanliness. And Queen Elizabeth I would take a bath twice a year. So what they were looking for was a deodorant, and what they came up with was this. This is an artichoke. Take one artichoke and rub gently under the armpit.
I bet that worked a treat.
Yes, absolutely. So
smelly.
it wasn't just the smells coming from the individual, but also from the other people that they had to get over this problem. What did they do? Well, they eventually arrived at the decision to make pomanders. Now, if we have a look at Queen Elizabeth I again, you can see that she used to wear pomanders. Just under her waistline, there are two golden-looking tassels. They, in fact, are pomanders. And we have a couple in the studio as well. This is from the 17th century. If I lift it up, you can see this one's quite beautiful. You see how that separates out? This would be filled with scents. You would bring it up to the nose, take a long, drawn-out smell, and everything will be all right again.
Clear the air.
Yes, this one is slightly older, in fact. This is 16th century. This would have been filled with herbs, dried herbs and spices. Well, I have an ancient how recipe here of how to make your own pomander. Now, it's quite simple, this. What you do is take one orange, and you need some cloves. You pierce the skin of the orange with the cloves, and you put them in like this, and that releases that lovely orange juicy smell. The cloves themselves, of course, smell delicious anyway. You would do that all the way around the orange until you eventually arrived at something like this. This is a completed pomander. Let me just take it off here. If you were going to make one, then what you have to do to preserve it, because obviously oranges go off, you have to dust it down with a mixture of orris root and ground cinnamon, and that will preserve it for about 3 weeks. But if you'd like to take a smell of that, Fred, and you can tell me just what you think.
Thank you. Oh, it's quite nice. He's a nice chap, that Orris Root.
Can hang that in my wardrobe, make me clothes smell nice.
Yes, fantastic. Yes, I think I should be keeping quite a few of those around the studio. And so that is how you get over the problem of working with two smelly colleagues like I have here. Now, if you would like to know more about that how, or in fact any how in the series, we have produced a free how-to fact book. And if you would like one, all you have to do is write to this address. How to, P.O. Box 1, Maidstone, Kent, ME14 5LL. That's how to, P.O. Box 1, Maidstone, Kent, ME14 5LL.
How can you blow big smoke rings? Well, smoke is pretty unpleasant stuff, so the best way to blow smoke rings is with a smoke gun. This is a smoke gun. What is it? It's a cardboard tube with at one end a piece of paper with a hole cut in it, and at the other end a slightly slack piece of paper for the tapping of. How does it work? Well, the first thing you need to do is to fill the tube full of rather unpleasant smoke like this. And once it's full, this is the great bit, this is brilliant. Watch this, watch this. You tap it very gently at the end there like that, and you get, see that? The air forces the smoke out through the hole at great speed, causing absolutely perfect smoke rings almost every time. Isn't that good? Now then, if you want big smoke rings, you don't want a smoke gun, you need a smoke cannon or 3. Smoke cannons are just like smoke guns, only bigger. Watch.
Oh, now you're
Bigger
talking.
smoke rings.
Now
Go
you're
on,
talking,
Karen, go on.
Toppy.
Smaller hole at the front, small but perfectly formed.
Yes,
Nice.
but look
Yeah.
at this one. That's a beauty, isn't it?
Magnificent.
Look at that.
And now to finish, a piece of music written for orchestra and smoke cannon. Go! And that is how.
For now.